Hey man, this is the A-Man Show back at it again. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel for more content and click on the notification bell whether I post new videos. Adrian Peterson has one of the greatest careers of a running back in NFL history. Although he's in his twilight years, let's reminisce the time where Peterson was not only making everyone look stupid, but bodying guys left and right. Now let's look at how good is Adrian Peterson. Lego.
Dudes, now I'm a made man. I call my fame, now I'm a made man. You never see me again. I got the juice, now I'm a made man.
Peterson was a 7-time Pro Bowler, made All-Pro 4 times, 2012 MVP, 2007 Offensive Rookie of the Year, and 2012 Offensive Player of the Year. His resume shows that he was a force to not be reckoned with. He was hard since day one as he was a three-sport athlete of track, basketball, and obviously football. He ran for 5,000 yards combined in his junior and senior year. He was rated as a 5-star recruit and then committed to Oklahoma. When he got here, in his freshman year, he was ridiculous as he had one of the greatest seasons for a freshman in college football history. He ran for 1,025 total yards, leading the nation in carries of 139. In each game he has played, he's rushed over 100 yards 9 times, which is a freshman record. In his first year, he turned Oklahoma from a mediocre offense to one of the nation's best. Based on how he was built, he looked NFL ready. He looked like a grown man at 18. It may discuss that he would have played in the NFL as an 18-year-old, but it is what it is. He was placed second in Heisman voting as a freshman, where he loses to Matt Leinart of USC. Oklahoma will later advance to the Orange Bowl as they finished undefeated in the regular season, but they later were demolished by USC 55-19. Now, I'm not going through his entire collegiate career because this is time consuming. So his next 2 years in college has been worse as he had less rushing yards than his freshman season, but that didn't hurt his draft stock because he was a lottery pick from the get-go. He has possessed athleticism and stature at 6'1" as he ran at 4'4" and jumped 38 inches in a vertical jump. He was destined for greatness as you saw from his combine and college highlights. He will later be selected with the 7th pick of the 2007 draft by the Minnesota Vikings. After he was drafted to the NFL, he confessed that I want to be the best in the game. I want to run wild. And funny enough, he did. In his rookie year, he ran for 1,341 yards and 12 touchdowns with averages of 5.6 yards per carry. He set the single-game record for the most rushing yards with 296 on 30 carries. His 10-game stretch with over 1,000 yards is the best in NFL history. So from the games he played, he was simply amazing. Every time he makes the cut through the O-line, he is unstoppable as there are usually 2 or 3 guys taking him down. He will make his first Pro Bowl and his team went 8-8, barely missing out the playoffs. The second year, he established himself as the best running back in the league. He ran for 1,760 yards, which is leading the league in 10 touchdowns with averages of 4.8 yards per carry. His total rushing yards are third all-time behind Eric Dickerson. He became one of 3 running backs who led the league in rushing yards in their first 2 seasons, and that is Jim Brown, Earl Campbell, and like I just mentioned, Eric Dickerson. He has so much talent in his arsenal, but his team has been average at best as his offense focused more on making opposing defenses focus less on Peterson by adding more wideouts, but that hasn't been the case. Although Peterson has been sensational, there are games where teams like the Carolina Panthers or the Tennessee Titans are holding Peterson for only 80 yards. They finally fixed the problem as in the 2009 offseason they acquired Brett Favre, who came out of retirement, and head coach Brad Childress implemented Peterson to be the main focus of the offense by running the ball more. Peterson became more versatile as he became one of Favre's passing targets. Adrian Peterson ran for 917 yards in 9 games on pace to rush for 1,000 yards, and the Vikings are 8-1 in the 9-game stretch. He will eventually finish the regular season by rushing for 1,383 yards with a career in league high in total TDs with 18. They finished the season 10-6 and made it all the way to the NFC Championship, where they lost to the eventual Super Bowl champs, the Saints. Peterson ran for 133 yards and 3 touchdowns. He has shown up, but Favre didn't, which he had a costly turnover, which ultimately preventing them from going to the Super Bowl. The following season, Peterson has been relatively the same as he ran for 1,283 yards and 12 touchdowns, but the Vikings had a disappointing season as they went 6-10. Peterson is the reason why they won 6 games, as their offense has been a bottom 20 offense. So basically their offense is anus. Randy Moss is washed up, Persian offense is solid, but he doesn't help the offense that much. And Brett Favre last year was his last year he played at a borderline elite level. That year he was done. He threw more interceptions than touchdowns and sacked 22 times. It didn't stop Peterson though, as he made a Pro Bowl and ranked as the 3rd best player in the NFL top 100 players list. If he performed like this, the offense is average at best and they will make the playoffs, but it's not really an accomplishment as they will just get bounced in the wildcard game. In the 2011 offseason, the Vikings signed him to a 7-year, $96 million deal, making him the highest paid running back in NFL history at that time. But that year, injuries will start hampering him as after the game against Tampa Bay, where he reached 6,000 career total yards, he tore his ACL and MCL and was placed on injury reserve. Yet again, the Vikings did not make the playoffs. He dropped 5 spots on the top 100 players list, where he was placed 8th. Even on 12 games he played, he still managed to almost run 1,000 yards, which shows that he was a machine given how much yards he ran in less games. After he covered his injuries, he was fully healthy and led to one of the greatest seasons for a running back in NFL history. This man ran for 2,097 yards and 13 touchdowns. He has the 2nd most yards rushed in NFL history behind Eric Dickerson. His play has actually led to wins as the Vikings improved from an awful 3-13 record to 10-6, clinching a playoff berth. They faced the Green Bay Packers where quarterback Christian Ponder was injured at that game, which led to the team's demise of losing in the wildcard game. This team as a whole is either mediocre or average as they have been in Peterson's entire tenure. Now it's very concerning as people are questioning, when is he going to get out of the hump? When is he going to win a Super Bowl? Although he was named Offensive Player of the Year and even winning MVP, but these numbers are somewhat leading to some wins and an NFC Championship appearance, but it never got over the hump. You got all the accolades, it's now time to win, right? Well, they went 5-10 the regular season in 2013. Defense has been anus as they were ranked in the top bottom 5, and Peterson ran for 1,266 yards and 10 touchdowns, but it's just not enough to propel them further. 2014, he had another season where it was an injury-riddled season for him, but in the following season, 2015, it was the last year he played at an elite level as he ran for 1,485 yards and 11 touchdowns. They made it all the way to the wildcard game where they had a chance to win the game, but the kicker could find a way to fuck everything up. They lost 10-9, and Peterson was a non-factor as he only ran for 49 yards and fumbled once. The next year he was done as he was later replaced by Latavius Murray and sat out the majority of the 2016 season due to injury. Peterson was signed a 2-year contract worth $7 million with the Saints, and he will ride in the sideline for the majority of the games he appeared with the Saints and then traded to the Cardinals. He was a solid player, but because of his age and injury history, the Cardinals released him. He will later sign a veteran minimum and have a resurgence in Washington. He finished the year rushing for 1,042 yards and 7 touchdowns. It was also in the 2018 season when he finished 8th all-time in career rushing yards. His production rewarded him with a 2-year contract to stay with the Redskins. This year he continued to be solid, running for 892 yards and 5 touchdowns. Obviously, he is past his prime and injury-prone with a rebuilding team. I think his production would quickly deteriorate as he can play about 2 seasons at most. So how good was Adrian Peterson? He was sensational, one of the best running backs to ever play the game. Top 10 at best, and it's highly unlikely we're going to see another player like AP. The reason why he is not top 5 is because he hasn't won a Super Bowl and injuries that derailed his prime a bit. But all of this on the side, he is still a future Hall of Famer and had a great career, and his legacy will live on forever in future generations. Like and subscribe to the channel and make sure y'all click on the notification bell. And that note, guys, this is the A-Man Show signing out.